had Gary Owen on my show last week. Mm-hmm. You guys did a movie together.
Yeah, we did.
Where
you
kicked him in the face.
I kicked him in the face really hard.
And, yeah, I remember I forgot to do this because I was saying that I was going to do this, but then like I forgot to put it in my notes. But my plan with Gary Owen was Cat Williams style, to have him diss all the white comedians, just make up a whole bunch of stuff about every white comedian out there. Say that so-and-so is really gay and so-and-so is into trans and this guy wore a dress, and just make up a whole bunch of nonsense.
That would be, I would love that.
About just white comedians.
Yeah.
Same way Cat Williams, but only black comedians.
Anything that makes people look at how ridiculous they actually are.
You gotta make light of it.
Use the art for good. That would be real cool.
Yeah.
What was it like doing the movie with Gary?
Oh, we had a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had so much fun. And Gary, he's such a sport, because he hadn't done any action before, and he was like all in. Especially the scene where I had to kick the shit out of him. And he was like, "Did I turn my head right? Did I fall?" So he was so involved, and I love that about him. Man, he was funny. I mean, he's funny as hell. So. We had a good time. We
pulled Gary in on that. One thing that's interesting about that movie, a lot of people think that like I got her into the movie. They think like because we're in the same movie sometime, he got his wife. Like no, she was cast before me. She was cast before me. She had a choice to play my wife in the movie or a terrorist.
The terrorist.
So
and what I chose.
Yeah, it's typecasting. So it's like, so she played her natural terrorism self,
Yeah, it comes natural. No.
But it's like, she was really good friends and went to college with the director. So
he reached out to me first.
Yeah, so she was already, and I got there second. But we had a really cool time shooting that movie. Gary was hilarious. It was like I convinced the director and the producers to cast Gary because I thought he had the right energy, and he did. He was a lot of fun. Yeah. A lot of fun.
Well, in my interview with Gary Owen, he had a very interesting story. Now, he wouldn't say who it was, but he did say this is someone that everybody knows. He said that at one point he had a meeting with a very major male Hollywood executive. And during the meeting, the executive basically implied that if they had sex, that he would make him a millionaire. He was like, "How much money do you make?" He's like, "I don't know, like $50,000. I'll get you $1 million. I can just roll right now." And basically he started coming on to him, and Gary was like, "No, I'm good." Well, you actually had a big entertainment executive, male executive, try to hit on you at one point.
Yeah.
He basically was like, offered you a huge career.
He don't even know huge career.
He offered to make you millions.
Said he could make me millions. Yeah.
For a small fee.
He didn't here's the thing. I hate it when people act like I won't out this guy and I was complicit and I'm part of the problem. I always tell people, you are allowed to hit on people.
Yeah.
It's nothing against anybody that's married.
Friends, whatever.
You had to hit on your wife.
Yes.
Right? So the guy hit on me. There was no promises, like, other than that, obviously. But there wasn't no, like, you're not going to get this job, because I still got the job I was in the room for. So there wasn't like the guy took away work from me. There wasn't no Terry Crews shit. I wasn't touched. There was no pro. It was just like, in the room when somebody's hitting on you.
Now, Gary ultimately got the role. So it's not like he kind of held sex over his head. He got the role, and he wouldn't say who it was, but he did say this is someone everybody knows. When you hear about situations like that, number one, have either of you gone through something like this?
I've never had to deal with that in my whole career, and I mean, I'm so happy. There was a time when I did one movie and they wanted me to do a little nude scene in it, and I was like, I'm not doing it. And they actually were like, this is one of my first movie roles, and they were coming down so hard on me. They called my agent. My agent was like, you need to do it. They were saying they were going to blackball me. It was crazy. And I was in tears because it was like one of my first roles. And I remember thinking, my whole career is going to be done because I don't want to show my breast. You know what I mean? But I'm like, I'm not trying to start my career on that path. I mean, that's not you know, that for one, I'm not comfortable with that. But two, I thought I don't want to start my career with people thinking, oh, this is what she does. She's cool with that. And yeah, it was a mess. And finally, the director came in and he stood up for me and he was like, you know what, you don't have to do it. And, but yeah, they were literally met with me and were like, yeah, you're never going to work in this industry. You need to do this scene.
When it comes to stuff like that, isn't that initially in your contract? When you sign a contract, don't you agree to certain things?
This is a long time ago. And this was in the beginning of my career. You know, I got some agent and, you know, this was a pretty well-known movie. But I didn't know all the ins and outs. I was very green. You know, so I didn't know, oh, I should have a nudity clause and say I won't, you know, I didn't know all that yet. So yeah, I didn't have anything written there, but they just kind of threw it at me on the day we were shooting, like, this is what you need to do. And I'm like, I'm not doing that, you know? So, but that's how a lot of women get treated. And, you know, they just throw stuff at you and they're like, we're gonna blackball you. And so a lot of women will go for it because they don't want that to happen to them. But I've always been the type, I'm not gonna do something I don't wanna do. Period. And I was like, well, if that's the end of my career, I guess I'm gonna be a waitress somewhere because I'm like, I'm not doing it, you know?